series with Dr. Daniel Fox's videos because he does a lot of videos on borderline personality disorder. He does some on narcissistic NPD, but I wanted to break some stuff down for me to learn and for anyone looking up borderline personality disorder to find out if they have it or a loved one has it or if they have traits of it, what is it and what causes it. So this video is about what causes it. I mean, from what I understand about borderline personality disorder or the traits, because it's on the spectrum, um, it's about impulsivity, lack of like personal identification, your self identity, could be suicide ideation, um, emotional dysregulation, you know, um, etc., etc. When they're in relationships, or me, when I was in relationships, that person had to solve everything for me. They had to be my friend, my lover, my everything, and that's not the way things work. You don't necessarily have to have one person to cover everything for you. And I was just going to say something else. When I said impulse control, I'll get to it. So I have the video that inspired this by Dr. Daniel Fox. It's called Causes of BPD, Identifying the Risk Factors. um, I actually did some notes because I had a bit of time. As you know, I've been sick. This is the first time I actually left the house to go to Costco, of all things. But it was tiring because I have no energy. I wanted to get some lotion, and I thought at Costco, well, I got other things too, but I got the Kirkland brand lotion because it was the best deal. I only got one set of it, and I will see if it's worth the money, then I'll stock up. Because I tried the Lubriderm on my body, and that really works. But I didn't go, they had Lubriderm, but the regular one, and it was more expensive, it was smaller, and I was like, okay, let me try this. So, let's start. I'm not gonna make you watch the whole video. I'm gonna go to the clips that I took notes, like some, I didn't do timestamps, but he quotes this guy John Gunderson, MD, who wrote a clinician's guide to borderline personality disorder. So I'll start there.
Cast 5 spells in 50.
Of course, there's a commercial. And there you go.
Hi, my name is Dr. Fox, licensed psychologist in the state of Texas. It's a clinician's guide for borderline personality disorder. It came out in 2008. And what I really like about this is that I think that it is succinct as succinct as can be. But I think that it also communicates not only what the issue of someone with BPD, of what they're going through and what they're experiencing, but also it relays this sense of compassion. It relays this sense of confusion. And I think that it gives a greater sense of that it's not a willful reaction. It's not like folks are sitting there saying, how can I really destroy your life today? I think that there is a misconception.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing with narcissistic personality disorder. There's a guy on here, not Sam Vaknin, someone else. What does he call himself? There's something narcissist. But I'll talk about that in another video. So right now, let's get to, he quotes what is BPD from the guide.
Hopefully that this helps you. So I'm going to read directly what he wrote. And he wrote, people with BPD are born with a genetic disposition to be emotional, have low frustration tolerance, and be very sensitive to signs of rejection. They have grown up feeling that they were unfairly treated and that they did not get the attention or care they needed. They are angry about that, and as young adults, they set out in search of someone who can make up to them for what they feel is missing. When they think that they have found such a person, they set in motion intense, exclusive relationships, which predictably will fail because they place unrealistic expectations on the other person. Upon failing, they feel rejected or abandoned, and either their rage about being treated unfairly gets reawakened, or they feel they are bad and deserved the rejection, in which case they become suicidal or self-destructive. Sometimes their anger about being mistreated causes others to feel guilty, and sometimes their self-destructiveness evokes protective feelings in others. Such guilty or rescuing responses from others validate the borderline person's often unrealistically negative perceptions of mistreatment and encourages their unrealistically high expectations of having their needs met. Thus, the cycle is apt to repeat itself.
Now, does that last sentence, let me get back to it, I'm going to read it, because it seems like vulnerable narcissism. Because you're looking for, you're looking to be validated by people based on the way you're being mistreated, and you're looking for someone to kind of validate that by rescuing you. And that's kind of the same thing as someone with vulnerable narcissism, as opposed to grandiose narcissism, who's looking for narcissistic supply. Now, I gotta add to this that my borderline personality, my BPD traits, they're usually comorbid with something. It's rare that it's alone. It's usually diagnosed with something else. And with me, I did all this in French, so I'm assuming the direct translation is vulnerable narcissism. So it kind of makes sense how they kind of interweave. So if I have traits of borderline personality disorder, I also have traits of vulnerable narcissism, meaning that on some things, I look for validation. What do they call that? The external locus? I don't know what that is. I saw another video, but looking for someone to kind of rescue me in certain things, and I've done that. So for me, this is spot on for me, and it's been several years now, since 2018. So it's been about 5 years. Yeah, what I want to say before is that there's also black and white thinking, and the idealization, devaluation of people. It's not only for narcissists who do that; borderline people do that too, and I've done that too. And I'm in this position right now. If you saw my last video, which is why my solution for myself, and of course when I was with my psychologist and time and working on myself, I have to take a step back. So if you know, I'm working, I'm in this, I don't think I said it right. I'm in this course, and I keep saying it's for orderly, but I don't think orderly is the right word. I don't hear people use that word. If it means working with elderly in an assisted living care facility, wiping asses, dealing with them, cleaning them, you know what I mean? That's what I'm doing now. And if you saw my video where I broke down, it's really tough on me, and that's how I got sick. First off, I have to set my limits. Like, the health field is terrible, and especially in this program, where they need people and they're just taking people, paying them money, and setting them in like really grinding them. And if I lose this, I'm okay with it, but I didn't quit. I actually went to the online course. I told the teacher there, it's tough, but I kept going with it. I missed a week already at the internship, so I'm going to go back Monday because that's when my next day is. And if they sit me down and talk with me again and saying, well, blah, 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 you know, um, try to intimidate me, no. The teacher even said that, well, didn't say that health isn't priority. I'm saying health is a priority. Your health is my health is a priority. Um, but someone had to go take their kid to the doctor or whatever. So she was implying that the kid's health, and you have to learn to. It's a big battle, a big battle. We'll see how it goes. But the point being is that I didn't impulsively quit and flee the situation. My biggest defense mechanism is to just like stop calling. It's like, you got your answer, you know. So I'm actually keep going with it. Um, yes, I'm anxious. I'm not liking a lot of it. There's parts that I do like because I'm learning how to deal with the patients, not the employees or the bosses or whatever. I'm learning how to get more organized when your time is a constraint, but it takes time. And this is relating to myself also. So I have to learn something from this in order for it to be some reason for me to do it. It's not about the money because it's not enough money. So, anyways, so now the next thing I want to show you. This was what is BPD or people with BPD. Um, a lot of abandonment anxiety. Won't. Okay, the last thing I wanted to show about this was what causes BPD. So, is it genetic? Is it environment? This is what he has to say, and I think. Oh no, then there's a summary with the Dr. Fox's actual opinion on his own. All right, so let me get to this.
Now feel free to rewind that a little bit. I'll read it here and I'll have it kind of, scroll up on the page as I read it so that you can get a sense of what I'm reading and you can read it along with me, okay? The cause of BPD is not fully understood, but we know it involves multiple factors. Like all other major psychiatric disorders, BPD arises when an individual with a genetic predisposition is exposed to environmental stressors. Although the genetic predisposition is still being researched, we believe that this involves 3 personality dimensions, each of which has multiple genes. These dimensions, called phenotypes, involve affective or emotional instability, impulsivity, and interpersonal rejection hypersensitivity. The environmental stressors that lead to the diagnosis are highly variable from one individual to another. However, for many individuals, histories of neglect or trauma during childhood are highly relevant. Research is beginning to tie the 3 personality dimensions or phenotypes to neurobiological pathways. Neuroimaging studies suggest that the emotional gateway within the brain, the amygdala, is overly active, whereas the normal inhibitory system within the brain, the prefrontal cortex, is hypoactive. Although much more research needs to be done, no one cause is adequate to explain the diagnosis of BPD.
So basically, that's saying is that your emotions are more active than your rational part. Like you can't control your emotions, so you're very impulsive with it. The amygdala. I think the amygdala is what they call the animal part of your brain. But anyways, so is it genetic? Is it environment? I do know that I resemble my father a lot, but I also do know that I was brought up in isolation and physically abused for many years until I got violent, and so it was stuff that I learned. You know what I mean? My father was in the Holocaust, and that was a trauma in itself. My father has knowing looking back now, has an extremely low self-esteem. Um, I kind of say that my father was like the Jewish version of Hitler. He was a small, effeminate guy, kind of like Hitler, and very violent. I did meet my half sister at one time, and she never met my father, but she had a picture from his passport. I don't know, but she had to change. Her mother had to change her name because she said that she was afraid that my father was going to kill her. So that's kind of like the um, instead of acting at a 2 when you're angry, you act at 1,000. Um, it was at the brunt end of his violence for no reason, like losing $1 if I don't get his Jewish newspaper. If I lose it, I saw him break my mother's arm when I was a kid, a baby kid. Like that's the earliest memory I remember. Um, I remember I was in summer camp and this girl was bothering me, and I came home upset, and my father came with me and scared the living shit out of everyone at the camp. I guess they thought he went like he went insane. And so I learned that that's the way you're supposed to act. You know, you're nice because he was extremely nice in public, extremely polite, very good gentleman, but everyone was fucking afraid of him when they crossed him. And he was a slight little guy, right? So, did he have borderline person? Most probably, you know. So, yeah. Was it because of the Holocaust, or did he have it already, or is it epigenetics? If you know what that is, I don't know. So, the last thing I wanted to show is the summary that Dr. Fox did and tie this all together. So,
Hello, my name is Kevin
I
Rogers.
wish I
I'm
can
one
get
of the
through
sock
these
designers
ads.
here at Grip 6. I'd like to take a minute to tell you about our sock line and
I don't want you to get lost, you know, and I know that he's talking a lot about neuroimaging. He's talking a lot for you. And what he's saying is that BPD is the combination of genetics and environment that make it hard to feel love and even harder when you feel rejected. It is a constant search for connection when you don't know what the connection is. It's a sense of loneliness and fear without knowing exactly where it comes from or where you're going with it. The tidal wave of thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and memories evoke self-destructive means to try and resolve or calm the tidal wave without having the necessary skills to do so. Over time, this becomes a cyclical habit out of something we don't fully understand, but it disrupts emotional, behavioral, interpersonal, and identity aspects of your life. It's complex, but treatable, and hope should be in the forefront as you seek and engage in treatment to outgrow all the things you once believed you couldn't. Please replay that over and over. If someone in your life you believe has BPD traits or borderline personality disorder, the full disorder, please listen to what that says. Please get as much as you can out of that so you understand it.
Yeah. So this isn't a dramatic video, obviously. I wanted to set this up as a evergreen video. If someone's looking this up, hopefully they'll happen upon this video. And I want to do more of these videos. Leave some comments if you identify what's going on here, or you know someone who can possibly use this video. You could even direct them to the original video. there you go. Bye.